So, you're finally moving to a new city, new state, new country, and there's a lot of things on the horizon, a lot of emotions, sadness, excitement. And today we're going to talk about 3 ways of how to make that process much more efficient, how you can adapt to your new culture quicker. So the first thing is to observe. Simply by observing, we're able to see how people interact with their environment, interact with each other in this new culture, and learn how to absorb that and learn that faster. Understand that when you're observing, you're not looking for just what people do, but you're looking for value systems. Each culture has different value systems. So we're looking for why people do it and how they do that. Those things are far more important than what they're doing. So for example, in a country like the UK, where I spent 10 years, family relationships, those things are quite close-knit, and they're valued more over, say, convenience, which in the States, convenience and time is a huge thing. Remember, when you're in this new country, continue to observe, how do people interact? What are the things they do and why do they do them, right? For example, in India, passing things with your left hand is considered rude because the left hand is considered unclean and it's used for things you do in the bathroom. And so in India, we always, when you're buying something, when you pass something to someone, you always use your right hand. Another thing in India is you don't step on the threshold of someone's door. When you go in, you step over it. You also don't point the bottom of your feet. Again, that's considered very disrespectful. If you're sitting you're sitting in a public area and you cross your leg over your knee, you want to make sure that the bottom of your feet isn't pointing at someone. I know that sounds really weird to someone in the West because it's just the bottom of the feet. But the reason for why Indians do those things, feet are also considered unclean in India, so they shouldn't be pointed at someone. Now, as you begin to observe, you'll start noticing, and it'll be a little weird at first, but you'll start noticing, this culture, they do these things differently. It could be very small things. And as you notice them and as you begin to understand why, it could completely take on a whole new meaning for you. And understand that you moving to a new place is going to change you, especially if it's longer than 6 months or over a year, is going to change who you become. It's going to affect your worldview, it's going to affect your perspective. And sometimes the hardest things, and I'll put this in another video, so one of the hardest things for someone who's moved to another place can be coming back, because you've become a different person. So, as you go through this new experience, wherever you're moving to, the second thing that we have to remember to do is to listen. And again, this might sound just as basic as observe, but listening helps you understand why people say and do certain things. Again, very similar, but listening, you will pick up on the language much quicker if you're listening for key words that people use. How do people say things? Are they loud? Are they quiet? Are they boisterous? Do they speak extravagantly? What are their adjectives? How do they describe things? One of the things I remember that was funny to me when I moved back to the States for the 3rd time was that people put super in front of everything. That's super cool. This is super fun. And it was just funny to me because in the UK it just seemed much more, well, this is how it is. They're very reserved. So it's quite the extreme from going, this is awesome, this is rad, this is gnarly, something they say on the West Coast here, going from that to, oh, that was enjoyable, that was fun, that was a bit of fun. You've got to understand there's a reason why people say certain things. Also, cultural norms when people are speaking. What kind of questions do they ask you? Are they superficial questions where the person doesn't really care, they're just saying stuff because it's etiquette? Or is this person being actually intentional? Do they want to get to know you? In the UK, I found that people are very reserved. They take their time getting to know you, but when they're intentional, they will ask you who you are, where you're from, and over time, depending how often they see you, you become family. And once you're family, once you're friends, that's it for life. So again, we're looking at what are the cultural values, and as soon as you can address those, that is your key to integrating into that culture much quicker. So, number 1, observe. Number 2, listen. And this is another thing, for example, in India, people are very direct with their questions. They'll ask you, how much do you make? Who did you vote for? Which in the West is considered extremely rude. You know, if you're a slightly overweight person, they will comment on that. They're very open on how they think, what they think about you in Indian culture. The third thing that you can do to adapt to a culture quicker is ask. Just ask whoever you're around. Ask them about why they do certain things, how they say certain things. Don't be afraid to ask. Asking, being vulnerable, shows that you're wanting to know. You know, there's strength in vulnerability. There's the realization that I don't know everything. I don't have all the answers. And that's, people warm up to that, right? Unless you're a tourist and you're asking really dumb questions in a shady part of town, but that's completely different. Asking is key, especially when you're interacting with people that you don't really know much about. Because what does asking do? Asking leads back to observing and listening. Why do people do certain things? Getting to the value system of that culture is key. So yeah, those are the 3 things, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Click the link to subscribe and give a like if you liked the video. See you next time.